I never thought a simple suggestion, let's stay close friends, would change my life in ways my ex never imagined. When Claire and I signed the divorce papers, I walked out of that courtroom with nothing but a bitter smile and a box of old memories. We had been married for 7 years, but in the end, all fell apart. Small fights turned into silence, and silence turned into strangers living under one roof. A week after our divorce, Claire texted me, "Hey, I hope we can still be friends. No hard feelings." I remember staring at that message for a long time. Friends? After everything? After all the pain and betrayal? Still, I replied, sure, why not? Because, honestly, I didn't want to seem bitter. What I didn't know was that fate had its own plan. A few weeks later, Claire invited me to a small gathering, her friend's birthday party. I hesitated, but eventually went. That's where I met Sophie, Claire's best friend. She was everything Claire used to be, kind, real, and surprisingly easy to talk to. We spent hours laughing, talking about movies, travels, and the weirdness of modern relationships. It felt effortless. That night, Sophie said something I'll never forget. You know, Claire talks about you a lot, but I never believe her side of the story completely. Her tone made me pause. What do you mean? I asked. Sophie just smiled and said, let's just say she's not as innocent as she makes herself sound. The more we talked, the clearer things became. Claire had twisted the story of our marriage to make me look like the villain, claiming I was controlling, distant, and unfaithful. In truth, it was her emotional detachment that had destroyed us. She had started messaging her old college boyfriend months before the divorce. I knew it, but I never confronted her. Over time, Sophie and I started seeing each other casually. Dinners, coffee, long walks. It wasn't planned. It just happened. She understood me in ways Claire never did. She listened. She laughed at my dumb jokes. She made me feel like a person again, not a problem to be fixed. Then one evening, I got a message from Claire. Did I just see you at the cafe with Sophie? I froze. I knew this moment would come. I texted back, yes, we're just catching up. But Claire wasn't buying it. Within minutes, she called me, her voice shaking with anger. How could you? She's my best friend. I calmly replied, you said we could stay friends. I took that advice, just not with you. There was silence. Then she hung up. After that day, everything changed. Claire's friend circle exploded with gossip. She tried to turn Sophie against me, sending her old messages, screenshots, and half-truths. But Sophie wasn't fooled. She had already seen who Claire really was, manipulative, controlling, and obsessed with keeping power over me even after our divorce. One night, Sophie showed me a message Claire had sent her. Be careful. He'll make you think he's perfect. That's what he did to me. Sophie laughed and said, if that's what being perfect looks like, I'll take my chances. That's when I realized something. Claire didn't want friendship. She wanted control. She couldn't stand the idea of me being happy without her. Months went by. Sophie and I grew closer. We supported each other through our past scars and built something real. Meanwhile, Claire's bitterness consumed her. Every attempt to reach out ended in more arguments, more drama. Then came the final twist. Claire invited both of us, me and Sophie, to a mutual friend's wedding. I almost declined, but Sophie insisted we go. When we arrived, Claire's face said it all, shock, disbelief, and pure jealousy. We didn't flaunt anything. We just held hands, smiled, and enjoyed the evening. But Claire couldn't handle it. During dinner, she cornered me near the bar and said quietly, you win, don't you? I looked at her calmly and said, there was never competition, Claire. You just lost what you didn't value. She turned and walked away, her eyes glistening with tears. That night, as Sophie and I danced together, I realized how ironic it all was. Claire wanted to stay close friends, but instead, she pushed me closer to someone who truly cared. My revenge wasn't planned, and it wasn't cruel. It was simply moving on, something she never expected me to do so beautifully. In the end, I didn't destroy her. She destroyed herself with her own games, her own pride, and her own inability to let go. So when people ask if we're still friends, I just smile and say, no, but But I'm friends with someone far better, her best friend.